And we are live, guys. How you doing, Bobby?
Hey, Chris, how you doing tonight?
Good, good. Just kind of relaxing in the house. Obviously, I'm a different area than I usually am, but buddy George says he's ready to go, so hopefully he's going to join us here soon.
Okay,
Um,
sounds good, man.
but Bobby, what are you wearing tonight? Watch wise.
Oh, well, the one and only, right? I mean, the Submariner.
I love that. The more I try those on, and the more that I wear them, like the more that I like love them. I get
Oh
why
yeah,
people love them so much.
oh yeah, it's super comfortable on wrist. It just looks great. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it. It's my favorite watch by far.
Okay. I'm wearing just a little nothing crazy here, but the Seiko 5KX.
Okay, yeah, yeah, it's a good watch. It's a great watch.
Yeah, they kind of put the kibosh on us wearing watches outside of work, which makes sense. I mean, all the robberies that are happening everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can't roll around with some luxury pieces these days, huh?
Yeah,
No, I hear you.
got Peter C.
Hey,
On
Peter.
Vigorous. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? But yeah, tonight's topic is affordables versus luxury. What are the not necessarily the downfalls, but the what do you see the benefits and the not so great benefits of wearing like affordables versus luxury? What do you what's your take on that?
Well, so I have like a whole general thought on luxury versus affordable, and I think both have a place in your collection, right? Um,
Hmm.
I was talking to this with a friend the other day. I can't sustain a collection with pieces. Let's just pick a number, like $10,000, pieces each. I cannot
Hmm.
sustain. There's no way I could do that, right? I maybe, if I'm lucky enough, have one or two of those type pieces in the collection, but the rest of the collection is going to be somewhere like mid-range and then very very affordable, and it's totally fine now. So I think they both have a place, and I don't know if there's like a versus. I mean, look, something like what you have, like the SKX or
Hmm.
SKX5. That's a great kind of watch. It's affordable. You can wear it every day, and you don't have to worry about walking down the street. You live in a city now, and I used to live in a city, and that's a concern, right? And they could take a beating, and you don't have to, like, obsess that you're going to be nicking it up and damaging it. Whereas a luxury watch, you might, right? And but with a luxury watch, you have some good quality watchmaking, and there's nothing like it. We were talking before we started the stream, that about the Submariner and how well it fits and how good it feels, and it's like my favorite watch. And so, yeah, I mean, that's you're gonna get that with a luxury watch. So having both in the collection is very crucial, because when I go to visit you in a city, I'll probably will wear something more affordable because it is what it is, right? So
Definitely.
that's where I think I kind of lean, and I'll be happy to talk about it some more with you. I just love to hear what you have to say.
Like the one thing I found like recently is obviously I get to deal with luckily high end pieces like day in day out. Like I've held a lot of pieces most people would
Hmm.
only dream of seeing in
Right.
person, which I'm not trying to sell cocky or anything like that, but that's part of the job. And like I said, luckily I've been able to see that, hold that, but at the same time I'm like I have more fun with the affordables.
Oh yeah, I get that, right? Um, I think what's cool about affordables is that you can get in and out of them pretty quickly, right?
Hmm.
So like if you get bored of that Seiko that you have, you can switch it out and go for like a micro brand, right?
Hmm.
And then switch out of that, and then go for like a Timex or G-Shock, right? That's the beauty about dabbling in the affordables, and I think you can do both. I think you could do luxury, mid, or all three: luxury, mid luxury, and affordables all at once. You can play in all those spheres. So that's what is so great about this hobby, right?
Exactly. And the thing about affordables too is like you said, like with everything going on recently, like there's
Mm,
all kind of robbings. Everybody's getting robbed for Rolex pieces, whatever else. But at the same time, you don't have to worry. Like I can walk down the street with a Seiko, not have to worry
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, I got some Seikos, I got some G-Shocks, and when I'm like on the property doing stuff like like mowing the lawn or chopping some wood or using the chainsaw, I'm not gonna wear the Submariner. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not gonna wear it. I'm gonna put on the Seiko or a G-Shock, something
Yeah.
that is technically considered affordable, and that's just the name that we just give it. It's affordable because only of the price point, but um, a lot of these watches typically packs a lot of punch, right? So let's talk about the one that you have on. That Seiko, I mean, like you have a day and date function on it. The movement hacks. You got a what, like 100-meter water resistance on those watches,
Yeah.
and it looks good, So those
For
watches are
under
great.
300 bucks.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So that's definitely one thing I want to talk about too. And like I said, like now, I mean, I can afford a little bit more, but at the same time, now I'm still like I like to keep it under the $1,000 price range, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff under $1,000. It's bananas. I mean, like you have most of the micro brands, right, that are out there are under $1,000, right? You can get like an incredible Zelos or two, right, for that amount of money, you know. Um, Squale, great diver. You had a Squale for a long time. I don't know if you still
Mhm.
have it, but that was the one that you had was a great watch. Well built, and a good looking watch. There's just so many, digital, mechanical, automatic. I mean, there's so many choices under $1,000. It's really um, like a bulk of your choices are going to be in that price range.
Yeah, I really like Zen too. I know you've got a experience with Zen, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You can there's some models that pre-owned you can get under 1,000, like a 556. I think you've been looking at that
Mhm.
or good looking watch, all purpose, every day. 556, great technology on it. You know, movement's probably been regulated at that point. Uh, just great German engineering. You know,
And also on the other end of the spectrum too, though, I could see where people get that value from the hiring and stuff as well. Like obviously you own a Rolex, so
hmm
you can speak from experience. Like what's your day to day thoughts on like the Submariner per se?
Well, I think it's like for me and for my lifestyle, it's like the perfect watch. It's sporty, right? Because it's a dive watch,
Mm,
but it could be dressed up, which I don't do anyway. I mean, people say you can dress it up, but that's fine. It fits really, really well. It's comfortable. The Glide Lock class is amazing. And just like the fit and feel, just like when you put it on, it just feels good. It just feels so solid. And I get it. You know what I mean? And I've owned some like independent watches that are independently made that have been in that price range as well. And that's a wholly different ball game, right? With fit and finishing and just like the detail of the watch, the craftsmanship. So there's a lot of upside for luxury watches. It just depends on what importance you play. Like if you
mm.
look at it as a tool, I mean, sure, there's expensive tool watches, but if you look at it as a tool, there's so much selection in the affordables, and and rightfully so, right? But that again, I go back to the original point that I was making when you first asked me that I think in a collection, or at least for me, they both are just as important, affordables and luxury.
Definitely. And that's another thing too. Like I feel like Rolex, the more I handle them, it's another thing. Like you don't. A lot of people don't see them in person, but the more you handle them, the more you get. You understand why they are so regarded. Like they're
hmm
regarded highly.
Yeah, yeah, they're tanks. I mean, a friend of mine who I'm not as close with, just because he moved to London. He's a watchmaker for Rolex, And I remember a couple years ago I was asking him for some advice. I'm like, I have X amount to spend, right? Like, what watch should I get? And this wasn't him toting the company line. This is his personal opinion. I mean, I known him for years, even before
Hmm.
he worked for Rolex, when he worked for Richemont. He said, get either a Sea Dweller or a Submariner. Those things are tanks, and they're built to last. And so
He
I finally
wasn't
took his
wrong.
advice. He wasn't wrong. He's not wrong. You know.
No, yeah, definitely. We bought a couple sea dwellers right recently, and the sea
Hmm.
dweller for my big wrist, I feel like fits perfectly.
Yeah, yeah. I'm intrigued by the Sea Dweller. I would love to try one on. Because I have a slightly smaller wrist than you. I'm at 6 3/4, so
Hmm.
I'm wondering if that would be a good fit. I like it because I mean that's a dive watch, right? I mean, so is this Submariner, but
Hmm.
the Cedo's a dive watch, and it's got the date on there, right? It doesn't have the Cyclops, which I don't really care, if it has a Cyclops or not. I kind of like the Cyclops, but to match up with my no date, that would be kind of like an interesting 1-2 punch in a collection, but maybe not. I
Which
don't know.
which sea dweller are you taking? The red letter or the James Cameron?
Whichever is easiest to get. No, not the J. I'm not really the red line is what I'd probably get.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely a classic one there.
Mhm.
Because even the James Cameron fits kind of like chunky on my wrist, even.
Yeah, it's a bigger watch, right? I mean, it's 44, right?
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. The big wrist is saying an older
Yeah,
sea dweller, no
yeah,
Cyclops.
yeah. That's
Okay.
in the realm of possibility. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely a good watch. But basically, what I'm like the whole point, like I said, of tonight's conversation was like affordables versus luxury. I feel like there's more. I'm trying to get the word for it, but I feel like there's more fun in affordables
Yeah, I
than
can
there is.
see. I can see that. Like, look, I mean, let me take that point of view that there's more fun in it, and there's several reasons why I think that's the case, right? So I know when I'm spending more money, like I stress out about the decision a whole lot more, right?
Mhm.
So that is stressful, right? And you kind of want to make that right decision, right? Especially, right? If you're not talking Rolex and you're not sure about the watch, right? That you buy. Hopefully at that point I'm sure that I'm picking the right watch. But what if I don't? What if it comes out and it's not what I expected? We're going to take a loss, right? You're going to take a loss, right? And
Yeah.
I know it's not about the money when it's collecting. I mean, about whether you make money or not, but it still stings when you lose a little bit of money, right? So with the affordables, you kind of don't have that stress, right? And
Yeah.
when I said earlier with the affordables, you can get in and out of them and then try other ones. That's the fun, right? That's the fun. Like having that Seiko 5KX maybe for like 3 to 6 months, and then being able to move on from it and picking up something totally out different within the under $1,000 range. That's the fun part, right? I mean, maybe buying and selling is not necessarily, or selling is not the best part about it, right? Because there's some stress with that. You're going to be doing a lot more selling with the affordables, but able to try different watches, and there's so many brands and so many micro brands. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Is that what you had in mind, Chris, about the funness?
Definitely. I mean, like I said, like anything under like $2,000 and under, it seems like there's like all kind of different options you can have. Like
Yeah.
you said, like whether it's micro brands, whether it's like mainstream brands,
Hmm.
even law jeans I've seen
Oh
like
yeah.
recently.
Oh
They're
yeah.
starting to come out with a lot, like $2,000 and under.
Oh yeah. And then Lungi's like pre-owned. You know what I mean? Like you can definitely find some good stuff under 1,000 with Longines. Yeah, I mean, the playbook opens up a lot more when you're in the affordable range, I think,
Mhm.
and that's what's fun about it.
James Duffy's saying there's definitely more anxiety spending luxury
Absolutely.
watch money. I can see
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
And then let's see, the bigger is saying he owns
Yeah.
the $250 T cell diver.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're in that looking at affordables, right? Let's just say anything under 1,000 is technically affordables. I know it depends on what your definition is, but you brought 1,000 and under into the conversation, so let's call it that. Like if you if you if you have any desire for, like, let's say the Submariner, right? But it's not on your budget, whether you just can't afford it or you're not comfortable. I mean, you may have the money, but you're not comfortable spending that much money on a watch. There's so many options. There's so many like watches that are homage to the Submariner under $1,000 that you can get that same sort of look and feeling, you know,
Mm.
without spending 10 times that.
Kevin S brings up a good point. He said that this
Nice.
issue with collecting affordables can be collecting too many.
Yeah, you can
That's
see your
true.
collection. You can see your collection swelling up. Like right now, like I started the year out with like maybe one or two G Shocks. I have eight now. You know what I mean? And they're affordable and they're fun and they just like
Yeah.
grow. They're like rabbits, right?
I just saw. Are you wearing that one, by the way? What are you wearing today?
Well, no, I have
The new
the
one you just
Submariner,
got?
but I was wearing earlier the Rubik's cube.
Okay. Because I was just at. I think I might have messaged you, but I was just at Josh Townwatch.
Hmm.
If you know him.
Oh yeah, he
Him
got one
and
too.
yeah, him and Everett Joe. I saw one. He actually got it when we were over there yesterday.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. He did it. He
that's
put
pretty
out a
cool.
video last night. It was cool.
Yeah, those are pretty cool pieces.
Yeah.
Do you think Sin surpasses Rolex in engineering?
I would say no. Um, but I mean, it's almost like comparing apples and oranges, right? Um,
Mm,
Zin's wheelhouse, right, is tegmented steel, right? Their proprietary tegmented process. It's the AR, um, the anti-humidity humidity capsule that they put in there, the stuff like that, right? That's where they excel. And with movement wise, yes, these are off the shelf movements or massively manufactured movements, and they do some work on it. They do some regulating on it and modification. But it's almost like two different animals. Like Rolex is not really super well known for its finishing per se. There's so many
mm,
brands in that luxury space that have better finishing than them, but Zen doesn't have that kind of finishing, and nor should they. It's a tool watch. Most of them is tool watches, right? So they're not going to be finished to that kind of degree. So um, engineering, I would give the nod towards Rolex because they built everything pretty much from the ground up there. Um, but it's apples and oranges, and Zin is just its own animal, and when it comes to engineering too. So I don't know if that really answered your question. Um,
I feel like I agree with you. Like definitely on like Rolex. I feel like is also a tool watch as well. Like a lot of
mhm,
people see it as a luxury watch, but it
yeah.
was originally built as a tool watch. So I mean, overall, like Rolex finishing, like I'm not a big gold guy or two tone guy, but I feel like they do gold two tone really well. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I could see like where their luxury feeling would be better than the Zen,
Mhm.
but I feel like Zen is definitely more of a tool watch overall
Yeah.
than Rolex. Let's see, he's saying hands down the Longines is the value
Yeah,
everyday watch to buy. I can see that.
their like heritage collection where they go back into the playbook and kind of like re-release old models or variations of old models. I mean, they're just killing it. They're killing it. And
Mm.
it's high time that I get a Longines in the collection. I've been talking about getting Longines for like at least 6 months now. I got to get one and at least a review. Um,
And then Kevin has to say,
yeah,
don't even need a sub homage,
that's
just
true.
get Seiko Diver. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely. And then Josh, what's up? What's going on, Josh? Thanks for having me over yesterday, bud. Appreciate it. Oil field watches, and like the build quality that goes behind the Zen for the money, I feel like is like some of the best value right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's now that's a different conversation. Like, if we're talking about for the money, Zyn is well, Zyn is starting to get a little expensive now, right? They're starting
Uh,
they raised their prices last year. I would say like a year and a half ago, man, there was probably not too many people who could compete with Zyn for value, for what you got, right? And we talk about value a lot, and it's almost nauseating to talk about it so much, but what you got for like a U50, right? Um, or an 856, which is one of my favorites since of all time, or 104, 103. What you got price wise with all that stuff that came with it, like tech wise, I mean, it was amazing. They're getting a little more expensive though now. So, maybe looking at brands like Decla, or and not Decla, I'm
yeah,
sorry, Damasco. Decla is an interesting brand. Their price point was really great. Watch buys started selling them. Their price point went a little bit higher than I would like to see. But Decla also makes a good watch.
definitely. Josh is saying he's liking a lot of what Longy's putting out.
Hmm.
I like that. All right. Let's see
Yep.
here.
Congratulations, Cowboy Swami.
That's awesome. And then Doxa 200 yellow. I like Doxa. That's a great brand, especially for the money too.
Yeah, I actually had one in for review, the 300T. A friend of mine sent it in, and such a great watch. Such a great watch. It fit great. I mean, I was worried about how it would fit. Some people I know who have wrist size around my wrist size and smaller say that the 300 fits a little bit better than 300T. I found the 300T fit perfect.
I definitely want to add the orange, of course, at some point to
Yeah,
my
yeah, you love.
collection.
Yeah. Hey, Joey
He's
B, what's up, man?
see what's going on, bud. How you doing? Let's see some more
Hey, watch this stuff.
conversations.
How you doing?
BRR is the bomb.
Hey, Wilson's here.
Swiss brands like Certina and Mito also offer. That's definitely true.
Yeah, yeah.
I
You
would
don't.
say. Uh, go ahead.
Good. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't seen any of those in person. Love to get my hands on one of those and review them, but I've heard great things about both brands.
Yeah, I've had a Mito in. I had
Yeah.
the titanium in,
Uh huh.
and it was actually a pretty good watch for the money, especially. Let's see. Orange Doxa is a must-have, sure.
Yeah.
Can't take the Clemson. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not, Peter. Or orange for life. I actually just bought a pair of orange Air Force Ones,
Nice. Nice.
believe it or not.
Cowboy Swami
So
said something very interesting. He's like, I love affordables, but for my preference, I need a sapphire. Now, your Seiko doesn't have a sapphire in it, right? It's a
no,
Hardlex.
it's yeah.
Is that See, like, I wouldn't mind spending a little bit more money, um, in the maybe a 400, 500, maybe a little bit higher to get something with sapphire in it. I mean, like, look, if I'm talking about, back before they discontinued the SKX at $200, Hardlex, that's fine, whatever, But there's so many brands out there in that 300, 400, $500 range who are including sapphire, especially a lot of the micros,
Hmm.
into their watches. Like, it's almost like now it's like when I look at affordables, I, you know, I having sapphire is very, very important.
Hmm. That definitely makes sense. Like I get why like a lot of people knock these I guess the 5K they're calling
Yeah,
them,
yeah,
but I mean I kind of like them just for like the style alone.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, obviously here, like I'm not gonna go like before. I had to worry like if I went to my parents' house, like they have a pool, so
Hmm.
like I had to worry about wearing them in the water or whatever. But here I don't have to worry about it, so
Yeah. When I when
not
I
so
had
much.
when I had a Laurier, right? I think that's the brand. And for a
Hmm.
second, I had a Baltic, and they have hard, not sapphire. What is it? Plexiglass or whatever they call it. I got a little nervous. I gotta be honest with you. I got a little nervous, especially with the Baltic. The Baltic was like $600 watch. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh
I get that. I definitely get it. No, no, you own a SKX, right?
man, I don't. I only have like three watches now. Other than my
Really?
G Shocks, I only have three. I have my sub, my GP, and my Panerai. I really tripped. I mean, I said, well, technically, I still have the Hobring. I sent that off to be consigned, but
Okay.
yeah, no, no, I'm down to three. I'm like, I don't like it, but I'm trying. I'm saving up. I'm trying to, I got a couple things coming. I'm waiting to hear from, um, calls from the boutique, hopefully soon. So I'm trying to, but no, I don't have. I mean, I have some Seikos that I'm saving for giveaways. So I have like an Arnie, I have like a monster that when I hit some milestones are going to be given away. So I really don't count that as part of my collection. But no, man, I'm
Yeah.
down to three. Scary.
Uh, that is crazy, especially for you.
Yeah, man.
What are you looking to get now?
Well, I'm hoping to get a call on a couple a couple like a Rolex or two from a boutique. I've two of them that I'm hoping to get a call for, but who knows when that's going to happen. But I've been kind of enamored lately with the new generation or new version of the Man on the Moon, the Speedmaster.
Okay.
So Sapphire Sandwich. So I'm kind of like obsessing about that. I mean, I can pick one up. It's just I want to save the money for the Rolex. You know, I could always pick up a Speedmaster at any point, but so I'm in that. Not only down to three watches, I'm kind of like in a state of limbo.
Okay.
What about you?
Nothing too crazy. I think that my next pickup might actually be a Zen, the 556. Probably
Yeah.
here in about another week or two.
Oh, nice.
I might try to pick that one up. So that, and obviously, I want to rebuy the Breitling that I had, the Super Ocean Heritage. I like
Yeah,
that one.
yeah. You love that watch.
Hmm. Obviously, neither of them are big heavy hitters or anything like that, but
They're great watches. They're great watches.
yeah,
That's a good pairing. Like the 556 and a Breitling Super Ocean. That's awesome.
definitely. Definitely. Let's see here. Got some. What's up, Chaz? How you doing, bud?
Hey, Jazz.
Hey, Mike. How you doing, bud?
Hey, Tennessee Mike. What's up?
And then we got James
Yeah.
Duffy. He's down to 3 dozen. I still have your watches, by the way, James. I have to send them back. So, but yeah, he was kind enough to send a whole bunch back. I'm starting to try to get more active on the channel again. So,
Yeah, no, that's good, man. I mean, like you have access to a lot of things. Hopefully, they'll let you borrow some watches for some reviews or something like that.
oh
You know?
yeah, yeah. They kind of put the kibosh on us actually like taking them out, test driving them for a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
which I
yeah.
get because of everything going on right now.
Hmm.
But I could probably film at this
Oh
at
yeah.
work.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Get yourself a like
So
an iPhone, and start filming, man. You know. Um,
definitely.
I mean, even if you do like wrist rolls, like a
Hmm.
short, you know what I mean? Just do it. Those get a lot of
Definitely.
views. Yeah, that's right. Chris, the first time I ever was on a live stream, it was on Chris's channel.
Yeah,
So
it
this
was,
is,
wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. I was like nervous. That was like a while ago. That was like a
Oh
year and a
my.
half ago, man.
Yeah, it was. It's crazy how time flies, right?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe longer than a year. Maybe it was like 2 years ago.
Might have even been that, long ago.
Do you think it's so? If you go back one to Cowboy Swami, Chris,
Right
yeah.
here.
Do you think it's worth the money to get an 856 over 555? So this is the way I look at it. Um, if you're talking about the three-hander, it's a little bit closer call. But if I like the 856 UTC. That's one of my favorite watches, Sin watches of all time. What's
Mm,
great about the 856 is that you do have that technology. You have the tegmented case and bracelet. You do have the anti-humidity capsule in there. You don't have that with the 556. But the 5.56 looks a little bit more that it could be dressed up, right? Because you have the stainless steel, the polished stainless steel. So
Mm.
it's a little bit more versatile in that way, where you can just have it as a regular day to day and also dress it up. Where the 8.56, you have that tegmented look. It kind of looks like a matte gray, and so dressing it up is probably not the easiest thing to do. But I'm sure you can get away with it. Anything could be a dress watch these days. But you get the more tech. Now you get a higher price point with the 8x6, but you have the more tech.
Definitely. And the 5.56 is definitely, I feel like it's a more versatile piece than the 8.56 to me.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. The good news is, Cowboy Swami, is like if you go pre-owned, I mean, you can find really great prices on both watches, and don't be
Mm.
afraid to go pre-owned, because of that, especially with the FI6 with the tegmented. It's not gonna, it's gonna look as new as the day it was bought. Provided that it's a couple years old. If it's 10 years old, then maybe not so much, um, but don't fear going secondary market on those.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, we're a little over half an hour now. You about ready to call tonight, Bobby?
Yeah, sure, man.
All right, guys. I appreciate everybody for coming on. Thanks, Bobby, for coming on.
Hey, thank you, Chris,
And
for having me on.
hopefully we'll start doing some more regular live streams here soon.
Absolutely, just invite me.
So, all right, bud.
All right, man.
Talk to
Take
you
care,
guys
guys.
soon.
All right,
Later, guys.
bye.